And we're excited about it. Me and Betty were practicing our waltz in between things. We're like, we're going to do a weird Xayah Rakan impression.
It's like, to better understand Xayah and Rakan, we must learn to dance like Xayah and Rakan.
Which is why, to better understand Gragas, we do lots of fun stuff on the weekend.
Yeah. We get body tattoos.
Yeah. Well, as the analyst desk already mentioned, Unicorns Love will be on blue side, and we will be very quickly getting into Champion Select. And the big question mark here is not whether or not Betty Xayah can waltz. It's whether or not the other waltzing champions of this game will make it through. Xayah and Rakan. Hot topic of discussion here in this series. Zach already banned down. Never going to see that again. Lucian taken off the board. Don't want any of it. But Xayah and Rakan. Who's going to get what?
A part of me feels like H2K are going to take it. Or they're going to ban a component of it. But to me, like, it's so difficult, right? Because Samex has been playing so well on the Xayah. But all of the engagements have been coming out from Hylissang on the Rakan. So, like, if you would take the component away, it's very difficult to assess which one you would actually target.
And also, if you're cruel enough to separate two destined lovers from each other in a competitive game of League of Legends, that is, that's the important question here.
Will H2K be the ones to separate the lovers?
But really, we've memed about the Xayah Rakan OTP enough.
Like, we have
to remember that these are incredibly high stakes for both of these teams. That being at the top of your group at the end of the season means getting a bye. And for H2K, a team that was eliminated in quarterfinals last season, that could be everything. And they decide to take the Rakan away. They are not taking any risks here. They say the Xayah damage was not the issue. It was Hylissang, as you noted, Betius, was able to play these flashy champions, engaging so consistently.
And it is a very difficult engage to stop, especially when you have a Shen on top of it. And we already know that Unicorns were guaranteed to lock that first. Not only do they deny it from Odo, but you get a good matchup for Chachi, and you also set up for so many great engages if Unicorns of Love are looking to go for the Warwick again. Now, what I want to see from H2K is let's get Odo on a carry. Let's give him something that can actually pressure that Shen and make it harder for him to roam around the map and make these kind of plays.
Like a Gangplank?
Like, no, more like a Fiora, the one that he went 10-1 on, that kind of champion.
All right, well, we will see. But for now, interesting, one of the few series where we see Syndra allowed through and given over to Febiven. Very surprising. Now, it did have decent impact last game, but was not able to outmatch the absurd amount of gold that UOL were able to accumulate early on.
Oh, I was about to say, I wonder if Unicorns will go for Xayah and Tahm Kench. But instead, they're going to go for the submarine that Unicorns, or that H2K rather, decided to go for in game 1. And, okay, so Unicorns, they've decided to draft the Vladimir. Not only is this a pick that Exile actually brought out a lot during summer of last year, and it's just something that he's very comfortable on, but it is a good answer to the Syndra as well. It mitigates a lot of her burst, and during the laning phase, he actually trades with her fairly evenly. So I think that it is a comfortable pick. But it could be hard for Unicorns to then get a favorable support matchup, given that H2K can ban those out.
Ooh, and you wanted an aggressive carry on the top side of the map. Kennen has been banned pretty consistently throughout the course of this series, but was left open and available. We may have missed it, but H2K did not. Could be the AD carry for Nuclear. We could test the old adage, Reckless is the only man who can play Kennen AD carry, or we could see it into the hands of Odo Wamne, but either way, that's a pretty explosive pick.
And now if you're H2K, you just ban away Braum and Tahm Kench. Two of the strongest supports as answer to the Thresh. Not only that, they're also very comfort champions for Hylissang to play, and you also make things difficult then for Twitch to have a healthy laning phase, because no matter what you pull with the Thresh, there's going to be a lot of kill threat in the bottom. And
when we look at this team composition, it feels like Unicorns of Love just continue to put their eggs in the Samex basket. And it's not just a birthday thing, right? Obviously, it's this team has been getting more and more proficient about playing around him. When he first joined the LCS, it was the Ivern with the Caitlyn and these kind of protect the Caitlyn compositions. But now with the Twitch in his hands, we have to expect big plays coming in from this guy. And interesting enough, it's not the Tahm Kench that's banned out here, Betius. It's the Warwick taken away from Xerxes.
Respect, but this will leave Ivern open unless H2K choose to take it themselves. Right now, what they are lacking is kind of a tank front line, and you can mitigate that by picking an Ivern and turning whoever you want into that tank front line. Not only would it deny it away from the Unicorns of Love, but then we're really starting to limit the champion pool of Xerxes, because even his Rumble jungle is gone, he can't play Zac.
Even his Rumble jungle is gone.
But now, like, a part of me feels like we could see a Sejuani here. I just feel like he's the kind of guy to play jungle Sejuani in the current meta.
See if your feelings are correct. Ivern now locked in by Yankos. We'll see who he wants to set up for Success-y. Happy birthday to Samix, as you can hear from our audience. Oh, okay. Well, things are heating up here. Happy birthday to you, Samix. You now get to play in a Twitch Blitzcrank lane with a Rengar jungle. Vedius, you wanted a submarine. Let me talk to you about the double submarine. We got a Rengar to hand deliver the Shen in the background. We got a Twitch to deliver him as well. Yep. And H2K, they're going to want to throw out some depth charges here. They're going to want to bring these guys to the surface if possible. And it looks like Varus is the decision here, which means that's going to be a cannon on the top side of the map. And H2K, they're going to rely on that Ivern turning someone into a tank, as we talked about earlier, because they do not have one on the lineup.
So I'm a little skeptical about the Blitzcrank, largely because you're automatically conceding your 2 versus 2 lane. You don't normally win your matchup when you're playing Twitch as is, but you can compensate for that by picking up a powerful support. And they choose to pick Blitzcrank, who offers no wave clear, good pick potential, but if you hook in a Thresh, like, that's not really the optimal target. So I feel like it's risky. There's a huge element of risk. But given that you do have the Shen, at the very least around level 6, there's a big opportunity for you to try and make plays happen down the bottom half of the map.
And we have to respect it, right? Because on the one hand, there's a lot of potential for disaster with this Blitzcrank. You can hook in a Thresh, you can hook in a Daisy, you can hook in a Kennen, who was happy to ult in the middle of your team. On the other hand, you can hook in that Syndra, you can hook in that Varus. So we're going to have to see how accurate Hylissang can be in this game. Vedius, game 1, game 2, some similarities. Game 3, completely different for both sides. Last chance, folks, at LOL Esports on Twitter. Hashtag UOL win, hashtag H2K win. Who will be the only undefeated team in this group?
So many questions, and only time will tell, as we do see Kennen getting through the draft. Over in the LCK, that is a terrifying pick. And in the hands of Odoamne, can he bring that same kind of terror as both top laners continue to bash heads?
Here it is, folks. One final game to decide it. Who will be the king of Group B? Game 3, Unicorns of Love on the blue, H2K on the red. Matchups in every lane that require our attention. The mid lane, Exile and Febivin. Consistently duking it out, consistently favoring Febivin, but the bottom lane in favor of H2 or UOL, and the top lane we will now see can Vizicachi go toe-to-toe with Odoamne.
And that's fun and everything, Draco's, but level 1, level 1, level 1. Let's see a level 1 play from the Unicorns of Love. We have the Blitzcrank. It is the solo queue special. Where will Hylissang go? He goes wide. Close, though. He was close.
30 seconds until
What? I started listening to the Unicorns of Love fans for a second, and I come back, you're like, he was really close to hitting that hook.
You've got to be optimistic. You've got to encourage your Blitzcranks, you know? When they miss that hook, you'd be like, don't worry, dude. Get him next time. You've got it.
Wow, you play a very different game of League of Legends than I do.
You got to be encouraging. Support your fellow summoners. When you miss that first hook, it can be a little demoralizing. But I'm optimistic. I'm looking forward to seeing what Hylissang can do. He's had 2 fantastic Rakan games. Now he's taking a bit of a gamble, going for the Blitzcrank into the Varus Thresh. That is going to be a very rough matchup. So much wave clear, a lot of kill threat. And it's a big gamble. But so far, Samix and Hylissang have been the ones to come out ahead in the 2 versus 2 throughout this series.
And Vedius, when we talked about this, a lot of team fighting presence in game 1, a lot of team fights in game 2. But what is this game going to be about? Because I see a lot of different things going on with these compositions.
Well, there's a lot, right? Because if we focus down onto the Unicorns of Love composition, fundamentally, there's a lot of team fight power later into the game. But there's also a lot of room to split push. The big issue that you're going to have is Twitch does not have the strongest wave clear. So playing a 1-3-1 is not the optimal setup unless your Vladimir or your Shen is so far ahead that H2K cannot answer. Now for H2K, they have a lot of pick power, but they too also have a lot of teamfight strength with the Varus, with the Ivern, with the Kennen. But where they can truly optimize themselves is if they can get this Kennen ahead, if they can start Odoamne snowballing and prevent Chachi from being able to get involved in the other lanes across the map. That is where H2K can really build up this signaling threat the Unicorns won't be able to answer.
The interesting thing, too, is we've seen 2 mid-lane matchups that have not looked great for Exile. Some very close calls in Game 2, some very unfortunate circumstances as H2K just constantly camped the mid lane in Game 1. But something we heard from Sven, Exile is great at these champions like the Vladimir, where he can be up in your face without fear, where he can just play so aggressive. And you can see him now up against Febiven. He is absolutely fearless in these trades.
But Che again.
Pool should be available now that he is level 3. If that had come any later on the level 3, Exile very well could have died in that exchange.
Getting that pool. I have seen some Vladimirs actually take pool at level 2, and against a player like Che who looks for these early roams, it could have been an opportunity. But regardless, Exile, he's prioritizing pressuring Febiven out. Looking a little bit more at this matchup.
Ooh, nice stun. Tower shot goes in. Pool out to safety. Ivern on the way mid as well. Exile has to respect this, but he can't just walk to the top side. Throws down a ward. Jankos. Caution ping's coming out. Not sure if he's spotted or if it's the sixth sense of Cersei in the jungle letting him know. Shay has to be careful. Stuns himself whenever he does that hook animation. Is vulnerable to Hillisang. I'm Betty, this is the thing about game 3. Is I feel like nothing's going to happen until level 6 again, but I'm not convinced even in the slightest, because even a single kill makes such a big difference here for either of these teams.
Oh, it really does. And whoever can get that early lead, we've seen both of these teams' ability to snowball just the slightest of advantages. That's what makes them so exciting to watch. This is why these two teams are the top of Group B. And while there are a lot of individual standout performers, like this series in particular, I've been looking at Samux, Febiven as well, the teams as a whole have just been playing very well. It seems like communication has been on point as Cankos
knocked back. Nice timing on the blast cone to get himself out. Very risky. He could have taken the Rengar with him. But without the Daisy there to back him up in the fights, Yanko's pretty vulnerable to those ganks. Still going to heal up. Look to set his sights on the top lane. Is spotted out on the ward. Bizachachi, though, ever the actor, is just going to keep moving forward in the lane, wasting time there for Jankos.
Now, this is actually really interesting from Chachi. Notice how he's always using the Spirit's Refuge whenever Odoamne has his passive up, which means that that passive on his 5th hit will be able to give him one of the electrical surge charges. And what you can do is you can mitigate that if you actually throw down the Spirit's Refuge, because the basic attack gets nullified. So you actually reduce a lot of the poke and harass damage that Odoamne is able to throw out. Just small little interactions to make that laning phase a little bit healthier for you if you ever find yourself in this kind of a setup.
And you're a bit of an awkward spot here if you visit Josh. Your job is to survive in this laning phase. Not a difficult feat against a Kennen, but luckily for him, Odoamne, aware that he doesn't have all the kill pressure in the world right now, has opted for the early call. Exile in trouble. Does heal up a little bit here. Febiven, has he overstayed his welcome? First blood for Febiven. The cleanse to close it out. Nice plays coming in.
And Exile. So many mixed performances this series. The hook does land.
Hillisang maybe looking to land the hook here. Rengar is on the way. Level 5. But as you rightly said, Betty, as we look back at the mid lane, Febiven has been outclassing Exile in every one of these games.
And while Exile, he did have a good Taliyah game. I was impressed with quite a few of his walls and the way that he was playing a lot of these team fights. Like, Game 1, yes, he didn't get camped, but also he made a lot of greedy plays, and it just, to me, feels like that was another one. He saw Febiven getting low on HP, and he thought, I can win this 1v1 once I get the health back from my Q. But he doesn't respect that his E reduces his own health, which then gives Febiven enough damage to be able to get the 1v1 kill and will get him the early level 6. And a Syndra is not the sort of champion you can afford to be giving these early kills to because of how snowbally she can be, especially during the early game.
Now, admittedly, Vladimir can opt to itemize a little bit of magic resist, Spirit Visage, or something of the like in the early laning phase. Maybe can mitigate it, but you're right. Even if Vladimir is safe, if that Syndra is fed, it does not mean that your Twitch is safe. It does not mean that your Shen or your Rengar are safe. You have to respect the potential for this character to just kill anybody.
Yep. Completely agree with you. There is nothing more annoying than your mid laner being like, guys, it's fine. Syndra can't kill me anymore. Like, great for you. I'm a Twitch.
Syndra, Zed, whatever it is, you don't want to deal with it. Well, luckily for now, it's still contained in the mid lane. Vladimir's still matching the pressure of Syndra. So things aren't off to too terrible of a start, but can't afford any more small mistakes.
And now Mountain Drake is the first on the board. We've seen a lot of clouds and oceans, and this time this could be a bigger point of contention for both these teams because it will greatly help in terms of your ability to siege and take down these objectives. Now, for the Unicorns of Love, their sieging is not the strongest, largely because Samex has a pretty short range on the Twitch, and so every time he gets near to that tower, there's always the risk of this Syndra stun hitting you in the face that you always have to respect. So for Unicorns of Love to really siege, they need to be able to get themselves a pick, or find H2K out of position where they can then rush down that tower, and this is why that Mountain Drake will help them so much.
Mountain Drake, though, will not be the focus. Instead, it will be the swap to the top side of the map. Che and Nuclear are happy to move forward there. A red buff is available courtesy of the Ivern. Neither Kennen nor the Varus are going to opt to take it, however. It'll just be the constant pressure here on Chachi. Twitch has figured out that the game is afoot. They may be aware the bot lane is on the top side, but Exile is in trouble once again, trying to move forward. Pool saves his life, but risky gambit there for Exile. Featherman burns all his mana in the exchange, however.
And that is one of the reasons as to why Vladimir does well into the Syndra. But Chachi, he's also reading the map right now. He realizes what's going on. And interestingly, Unicorns of Love, they're actually trying to respond, even with the Ivern on the top side of the map. I think they're a little bit slow on the play, but Chachi is moving in a way that makes H2K a little bit too wary to continue sieging.
Looking to hand deliver it, but the cannon is moving forward. Lots of damage coming out. Chachi is taken down. Twitch is spraying and praying and trying to get something, but out they go. Lantern saves the day. Samex and Hylissang are going to have to back off this tower because there are too many members of H2K. Che flashes forward. Hook connects. That's the play. H2K needed. Big lead coming in.
Beautiful dive coming out from H2K. They saw that Chachi had just overextended, and they knew that if the bottom lane of UOL turned up, what is a Blitzcrank gonna do? He can't peel, he can't save you. Sure, hook the cannon into your team. I don't care. H2K fully aware that this Blitzcrank play is not gonna be a threat to them as they dive onto the tower and get themselves an
And these games just get faster and faster. Betty is Exile now in trouble. Rooted up, Rukon not going to be able to complete it in the end, but so much pressure coming down. 2K Goldie for H2K before 10 minutes, and we'll watch this one more time.
And perhaps I'm being a little harsh, but in this scenario, what is a Blitzcrank going to do? You're in a 3 versus 4. UOL do not respect the possibility of Jankos being around, and it was just a really good dive from H2K. They know about the Shen, they move to the top side of the map at level 6 to avoid that all-in play. And UOL, rather than trying to trade towers, they decide to try and hold on to their own tower and give 3 early kills over to the side of UOL.
In the end, tower still falls. Just such a brutal position to be in. We can see these guys are the big playmakers. Hylissang, Che, the men on your screen. Massive difference in their matchups in the previous game. It was all about Hylissang on the Rakan. This time around, though, the Thresh is already off to a fantastic start. So look at game 3, and H2K just want to continue this sieging pattern. Oh, Blitzcrank hooked up, so much damage goes on to him. The Shen on the way in. Can they kill him before the Shen connects? Now pulled back in. Chachi, they're trying to burn through Otawamni. They're making it look easy. Samex is hungry for blood. He's already gotten 1. Rangar's already gotten 1 as well, so he's going to walk back in the bush. Will leap back out, looking for the extra stack of ferocity. Going to connect 1, going to connect 2. Damage keeps on coming. Spirit's Refuge not going to save the day, however. Still trading back and forth as Exile and Featherman look to fight in the mid lane. Scatter the Weak comes out. There's the ball. Now he's moving forward. Ultimate goes in. Exile still alive, but Featherman has the damage.
Outclassed once again by H2K's mid laner as he picks up a solo kill. But Unicorns of Love, they answer with plays down bottom lane.
Gotta connect it. That is such a strong engage coming in from Chachi. Man, what explosive play from both sides.
UOL, they just continue with the aggression. They realize things did not work out the way they wanted in the top lane. They have to find something back, and they do. They do not take their foot off the pedal. They're constantly looking for avenues back into the game, and they find them. 4 kills to 5 right now. Gold still heavily in favor of the Unicorns of Love.
And with this Twitch pick, we said Unicorns of Love put their faith in Samex, and rightfully so. 3-1-1 in this game. He is the bastion of hope for Unicorns of Love fans, because things aren't going great, but he is bringing them back into this game.
So in this instance, if you focus the Blitzcrank, he actually gets a really big multi-man silence off, and he lands a good hook underneath the tower. That is where the Blitzcrank can be very effective, as long as the rest of Unicorns of Love are ready to follow up. And as a team, they always are. Now, Zusei could have gone out of that, but instead he chooses to sacrifice his life in order to get Samex another kill, which arguably is definitely worth it if you can get this AD carry rolling. And bear in mind, that Twitch is now 3-1-1, primed and ready to get that very early Blade of the Ruin King in order to get the game going.
And the gold lead does not matter. Unicorns of Love starting to even it up. Only 1K the difference between them now after that exchange of plays. Even if Exile loses the 1v1 in the mid lane, Unicorns of Love are still fighting back. A little more defense from Exile as well. Maybe he can just keep Febiven contained, can keep farming up, stop dying in the mid lane, and let the rest of his team make the plays, but we'll see. Maybe he can still find those outplay opportunities if there are any to be taken.
We do need Exile to stop dying. I mean, props to Febiven. He is playing this matchup very well, but I feel like a large part of it is Exile trying too hard to win his lane.
But we have to praise Febiven for playing so consistently as well. This man has been a monster this series.
I don't want to take anything away from him because he is punishing these mistakes very effectively, but it is also, I feel, like big mistakes that Exile is making and just not respecting Febiven. 2-0-0 right now. Morellonomicon completed. Just the item that you need for Vladimir because of the Grievous Wounds that it applies once you drop below a certain percentage of health. And I feel like that come the rest of this game, Febiven is going to be one of the big determining factors as a hook.
Ooh,
just missed.
Flash comes out. Che giving the respect over to Hylissang. Samix maybe hoping to be the submarine. Stand United is available, but for now we'll just settle for an attack speed steroid and a push. But that's the hook going to connect. Hylissang not going to flash it out in the end, and he's trapped under tower. But now trying to flash to safety. Bars cooldowns have been nerfed. We have a 1v1 on the top side of the map. Odoamne dishing out so much damage. Spirit's Refuge going to keep him safe for now. Hylissang sniped out. Let's go back to the 1v1 exchange because Vizichachi's getting a kill as well. Or get killed as well. Xerxes now running for his life. Folks, it's an absolute bloodbath. I don't even know what to say about it.
At the start of the day, Xerxes said, I want a bloodbath against H2K, but I don't think this is what he wanted as Febiven.
Holding on for hope, backing off in the end, 4-8 the kill score. That was so good for H2K.
Everything falling apart for the Unicorns of Love. A 2v2 death down in the bottom lane, a 1v1 death in the top, and Exile getting forced back. Just look at the influx of gold going towards H2K. Just think back to what we were talking about earlier on in the day, or earlier on at the beginning of this game, rather. Odoamne, if he gets ahead of Chachi, he becomes a split push threat that no one can answer. The fact that Febiven has been consistently outperforming Exile means that he's had continuous pressure mids. And we've talked at length about this Blitzcrank and how I think it's risky. Hylissang played that far too aggressively. He wanted to try and make the dive happen with Xerxes, but they didn't have the minion wave to set it up. And I feel like there was just an element of a communication breakdown there as H2K just find an answer to everything.
It's just insane because we see good performances in so many instances from so many different players, but this game, Che is just coming in clutch. It's not just Odoamne, it's not just Febiven. Che is mitigating so much of the strength that Unicorns of Love bot lane have shown us. And small mistakes like that Shadow Dash just costing so much as we get later into the game.
Things are looking extremely bright if you are H2K fan. But here comes Samix.
Going to get a little bit of damage down on the Febiven, but there's Odoamne waiting off to the side. Febiven is now in trouble. Cleanse is up, hitting damage onto Hylissang. The Shanda's coming in as well. This is a fight for the Unicorns of Love. One good damage comes in from the Vladimir, but the ult has been used by the cannon. He does get taken down in the end. Twitch is on the backside trying to dish out the damage, but Nuclear is just as strong right now, and he's looking to take out Vizichachi. The arrow comes in. That's the double kill for the Bars. Samix now running. Tail between his legs, has to hope that Xerxes can get out as well. Throws down the Venom Cask, wants to keep the fight rolling. Hail of Arrows not going to connect. It's a back off in the end. H2K still take the fight.
But this is a classic Unicorns of Love. They're down in gold, they're down in kills, and they say, we're going to fight. We're going to try something anyway. We see Febiven in the middle lane, not even that overextended. He still has all of his summoner spells available. Samix just moves up saying, you know what? We have the damage to kill you. We have a Shen ready and waiting. But Hylissang dies too fast, and he's left alone. Chachi is just left alone at the front of the fight. Too many members die on the side of UOL that there's not enough follow-up to be able to kill the rest of the H2K members. But the fact that they're able to get 2 kills for 3 is still a positive thing for the side of the Unicorns of Love, because they're getting a little bit of gold back, and they're continuing.
Hylissang gets the hook! Just so clean on the Blitzcrank. Febiven now running for his life. Good damage comes in from Exile, but the tower is being tanked. Odoamne now going to try to pick up Exile on the back half. He has to run back to the turret. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. Heals up. Odoamne takes him down.
Man. End up trading another 1-for-1. The skirmishes continue between the two top contenders of Group B. The Mandrake finally goes down. And this is a fun final game. This is what we wanted. Both these teams just butting heads over and over and over again. Unicorns refusing to go down without a fight. H2K continuing to push the advantages that they have. And right now it is still the H2K game show. They are still the ones deciding all the questions, getting everything they want going in their way. And it is Unicorns of Love having to find avenues back to regain some control.
And really, when we look at it, H2K finally keeping up in team fighting as well in this game. A lot of potentially even exchanges that they turn in their favor, utilizing the gold advantage that they have. And when we look across, we talk so much about the top side of the map, but it's the bottom laners who are coming in clutch. It is Che and Hylissang making the plays. It is Samix and Nuclear dishing out the damage. 4-1-2, 5-1-2, the respective scorelines here.
Really good to see both AD carries stepping up because, you know, we have to say that Samix was considered one of the weaker points of the Unicorns of Love in spring, and now we have nothing but praise for him as Chachi's in trouble.
Stun coming in, Spirit Chuck buys a little bit of time, but it may not be enough. Ivern's on the way as well. Vizichachi set to fall. Trigger Seed. It's going to stop him from going anywhere, and that's yet another kill for H2K as Otoamne walks it down.
The power of Cannon. He's got the blade completed, working towards the Runans. Hylissang trying to get something back, but H2K showing much more respect towards the Blitzcrank.
You can see H2K just in control of this game. The gold graph tells us the story of this 4K lead. Unicorns of Love fighting back in a few instances, but it's just getting worse and worse here as the Cannon gets more and more out of control.
And bear in mind, H2K, they don't really need to group up and fight 5v5 anymore. All they have to do is keep this Cannon off onto a side lane because he has 3,400 more gold than his top lane counterpart. 2 levels above. Right now, though, they're trying to kill.
Not going to be enough for him to fight 2 champions, though. Stun does go down. Otoamne running for his life. Vizichachi going to pick that one up. Nice punish coming in from the Unicorns of Love.
The Battle of the Ninjas. Chachi was tired of losing it, so he called for his combat cat to come give him an assist. And now H2K, they want to go for a collapse.
Moving forward, Xerxes in trouble. Knife Cat trying to find his way to safety. Daisy coming in, and Vizichachi now running for his life. Hook comes over the wall from Che. The chain CC goes in, and that is yet another death for Vizichachi.
And now a 4-man unit of H2K grouped up in the bottom lane. They used a fair number of ultimates, so they don't want to continue the commit. So instead, they're just going to disengage as Exile.
Protobelt available, ult available, Flash, Storm Raider Surge. He can leap into the backline, but he thinks better of it. Not going to take the risk this time.
Yeah, he is alone as well, so he just has to realize that there would no be substantial follow-up. Instead, just back away, trade the 1-for-1. H2K still heavily in control of the map. Bear in mind that mid lane tower still not fallen. They still have so much pressure thanks to that objective, and this is where we see Odo just sticking around a little bit too long. The rest of his team weren't in a position to continue on with the pressure, and that resulted in Unicorns of Love being able to get themselves a kill.
Bit of an awkward spot, flashing, and the Rengar just gets to follow. He flashes into the brush and just leaps down on top of you. No ult available means he can't really peel for himself either. Maybe a powerful cannon, but it's still a vulnerable cannon.
And what Unicorns of Love, I feel, need to do now is, it's kind of like a Fnatic special, where they actually send Samix, rather than coming into the mid lane looking for a pick, you actually send him to the cannon. You use him to try and get a pick off onto this side lane, so that pressure is relieved from Chachi, but also you're shutting down one of the big gold leaders on the side of H2K, because bear in mind, the majority of this gold deficit is just because of the 2 top laners. We just saw the gold difference. And if you can shut him down, if you can catch him unawares just by using Samix in this lane, that could be a way for Unicorns of Love to just find answers back to regain control.
And we look at it, without both the Kennen and the Varus present, this is not a great team at killing the Baron, so maybe taking that risk won't even cost them something on the other side of the map, because Ivern just not a threat to that Baron. Syndra similarly does good damage, but it's nothing compared to a lot of other junglers.
Yep, I agree. What we are seeing there is hook.
Goes in, Daisy on the way, we can hear Thrill of the Hunt being used. Now going to hook chain forward. The Exile in trouble, does move out, but there's so much happening on the backside. Kennen is the one in trouble. Exile does manage to make it out, but the fight keeps on moving. Vizichachi moves back, trying to hold on to his life. Flash forward from Nuclear, though. That means he's going to be dominating. Now moving back, H2K find a single pick. Hylissang hoping to find a hook, but he's not going to get it.
H2K, they are the ones that end up getting initiated onto, but because the target is an Ivern, he has a lot of sustain, he has a lot of shielding as they've been forced to flash from the hook. Now, H2K, they move towards the Baron. They want to properly set up the 1-3-1. UOL, they're forced to answer. Spray and pray still available.
Keep your eyes on it. Where's it going to go? Chain not going to find the hook. Hylissang moving forward. H2K backing off. They want Unicorns to love to fight them. Hook not going to connect. Baron getting lower, has not reset yet. 2K dropping lower. Here he goes on Exile, leaping forward, wants to get a little bit more. Hylissang trying to find the hook. Not gonna get it quite yet. Samix dishing out so much damage. That's 2 kills. Baron resetting, but Unicorns of Love, they've got it in their sights. Exile says, I may not have had the laning phase, but now is my time.
And Samix comes up huge. The spray and pray was still available. H2K were too hesitant to commit to the Baron, and as they retreat, Samix unloads. He eviscerates H2K, and they've come back into the game with an ace and the Baron.
Rama, arms wide, unicorn plushie in his hand, has to be feeling proud of the boys. Sheepy in a similar state. What a turnaround from the Unicorns of Love lineup.
And just keep your eyes on what Exile does, because this is great. He draws so much attention away from Samix, and he is just doing so much damage. Featherman gets as much damage down as he can, but it is not enough. The shielding coming out from nowhere. It doesn't matter, he doesn't have anything. There's just not enough damage. And it was just such good positioning from the side of the Unicorns of Love. Jankos ends up getting cleaned up at the very end. And I said it was an ace. Nuclear did get away with his life, but it doesn't matter. It felt like it to me.
And Vedius, instantly an even game again. H2K had a massive lead. And now we're going to see Unicorns of Love may be able to find a lead here with this Baron buff. Can finally look to break down this first tier mid tower, maybe even more. And of course, Kennen's still stronger than the Shen, but it may not matter in the fights to come.
You can just see the amount of damage that H2K been able to do is
Hylissang. Gonna get picked off here. Survives much longer than expected, but H2K, that's gonna slow down Unicorns in their tracks. Will make it harder for them to get anything with this Baron.
But this is very good for H2K. They need to buy time right now, because as long as the Baron buff is up, UOL can have the siege advantage. They are in a position where H2K can't look to try and make anything around the map, but when they have the numbers advantage, it goes back in the court of H2K. And so they need to keep trying to find these picks. They need to find people who are just slightly out of position so that they can get some gold back on the boards and then really force a fight when they have the numbers advantage.
And when we look at it, if nothing else happens during the duration of this Baron, H2K will maintain the gold lead.
Exactly.
Now it's a good spot to be, but Unicorns of Love not going to let it happen easily. Exile and Samix absolutely threats that you have to respect. Which with a little bit of MR in the form of the QSS.
And I'm impressed that H2K has still been able to hold on to this mid-tier 1. 25.5 minutes into the game, still not dropped. But just look at how much more free farm Chang-Chi is getting as a hook comes through.
Not going to connect, however, but you have to keep your eyes on these hook champions. You have to keep your eyes on the Twitch as well. Spray and Pray can decide everything in the next fight. Good engagement to Exile, takes a bit of damage. Odoamne moving forward, hoping to chain the CC together. Going to force the pool at some point. Out comes the Rengar ultimate. Exile wants to keep this going. Now leaving for a little bit more. Down comes the damage, but Odoamne pulled out of the fight and removed as a problem. Vladimir all going to pop, but no one's going to drop in the end. Unicorns of Love now going to be able to break down the tier 1 tower. Will the fight continue?
And you're seeing how hard it is for H2K to kill the Unicorns of Love when they're grouped up as a 5-man unit. H2K wanted to be playing all 3 lanes. They needed to keep this Unicorns of Love squad separated. Keep the pressure onto Chachi so that he cannot ulti in. And even though Exile gets chunked down to no HP, Shen ultimate, the lifesteal.
Flash forward, that's a bit of revenge.
Exactly that. Finally, he gets some redemption as Unicorns of Love are making their way to the inhibitor.
Now moving forward, Cersei just has his sights set on the tower. Now he's going to look to kill Jankos as well. Hylissang coming in, not going to be able to get the lantern. Yes, he is. Nice escape, but there's Exile. Has not strayed too far. Unicorns of Love looking to break open the inhibitor. What was once an H2K favored game has fallen apart. Unicorns of Love take control.
And it's so reminiscent of H2K making these late game calls. They got 1 pick onto the Unicorns of Love, and they decided that was good enough for them to go for a Baron play. There was so much risk associated with it that they did not take into consideration. And it was everything that the Unicorns needed to set up for what is now an extremely strong team fight comp. That Twitch is 6-1 and 4. His damage is unanswerable for H2K because who's going to be diving onto that backline? And sure, Odo comes in, but then he's just getting hooked away every time he gets close.
And the thing we have to remember about that Baron too is that Unleash Power, the Syndra ultimate, maybe your one get out of jail free card when it comes to this late game scaling Twitch, a way to eliminate him wasn't available, wasn't enough in a fight. And if you can't kill that Twitch, let's be honest, you're doomed.
Yep.
You cannot win that fight. We have seen that in every game that Twitch has been picked. If you let this champion get the late game and you cannot delete him immediately, things just fall apart.
But again, Odoame, he's now off onto a side lane. Very little to no armor completed for Chanchi. Means that he still cannot go toe-to-toe with the Lightning Rat.
Awkward position too, with the Knight's Vow. Not sure who he's paired with currently. Oh, it looks like Samix.
Yeah, almost certainly.
But without
Samix,
being near Samix, will not get a lot of those stats. And Vedius, we look back. Odoamne struck back so well in this game.
Oh, Nuclear, you better run, because they're coming. They're coming.
Has to back out. So he's hungry for blood, but not that hungry. Does not want to risk jumping to 3 members. He is not a fed Rengar, even if he has been a playmaker for the team. Now Samix is moving forward.
Here we go.
Going in onto Jankos. Jankos potentially in trouble. Root Caller does connect. Should be okay, but everything's going to be burned. Now pulled back into the team. It's the cannon who's caught out. Surprise! Unicorns now want to break open that inhibitor. They already got the tower. Now they just want to make some super minions in their favor, but Samix just continues to wait on the wings, to look on the outside, to try to find the flanks.
And we've talked so much about this man, but we have to do it again because Samix is playing out of his mind. Going invisible to force pressure down onto Jankos. For Hylissang to land another one.
Over the wall. Bye-bye, Shay. Gonna try to walk back through, but it is not enough. Now they have to run for their life with the Twitch. Does use the QSS, and he's able to consistently dish out the damage. Nuclear not able to respond despite the strength of the AD carry. It's Odoamne who is locked up. It is Bizachaji with a flash taunt. It is Bevivin now running for his life. The scatter of the week comes out to delay what could just be the inevitable. Poison ticking. Bevivin running. Is going to make it out in the end, but Unicorns of Love just so aggressive.
And they don't take too much from it. They're going to be happy with the kills, back away to base, and not make the same kind of mistake that H2K did earlier on. This is just a recap of what happened. Hylissang saying, you know what? Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for the fight. And bear in mind, look at the positioning of Samix here. Just out of range of the cannon ultimate. He did get rooted up, but who is the threat on H2K? Who is threatening Samix's life? Because it's not Bevivin. Odo cannot get anywhere near him, and when there's a Knight's Vow and a Shen ulti too, this is the late game Twitch. He is primed and ready, and he is obliterating your line.
Now Unicorns of Love, not only do they have an inhibitor broken down, not only do they have a massive wave pushing on the bottom side, they are set up to take this Baron. Nice Lantern to save the day. Yanko's been getting caught out a lot this game. Can't afford to get caught out again, and Nuclear, the major damage dealer right now for this team in so many ways, needs to be able to survive in these team fights, and it's just going to be so difficult. It just feels like the Zion Twitch we saw in game 1, Vedius, where it's just, the range is such a huge factor.
And bear in mind, UOL, they're not actually starting the Baron, they're trying to earn themselves an Oscar, just acting around it, trying to bait them in.
And now they've got Daisy, and they may have Jankos. He has to pull back. Taunted up means it's going to be tough to explain, but Exile takes so much damage. Odoamne does so much in a one-on-one scenario. Flash forward, flash out, teams trading skills. That's going to be the hook onto Bizachachi, not quite what they wanted. They're poking at each other, looking for opportunities. Keep your eyes on Hylissang. He does manage to get Che trying to make it out. Xerxes on the back line. He's looking to kill Nuclear. He knows where the damage is. Keep your eyes on the Rengar. Where's he going to go? It may not matter, but Samix, will he drop down? In goes Xerxes. Nuclear's going to get taken down. That's what they want. Samix, he sees his opportunity. He starts to unload the damage. He's there to back up the fight. This is domination. This is the Unicorns of Love. They're going to take the fight. They're going to take the ace, and they may just take the series.
Unicorns of Love, they only lose their mid laner, but they're going to gain so much more as they make their way to the top of Group B and dismantle H2K.
And we look at that last fight, it was beautiful execution, it was patience. They find the hook, they find the flank, and just when the timing is right, Samix starts to dish out the damage. He starts to clean up the fight, and it is redemption for Exile. It is the win coming in for Unicorns of Love, and at the end of the day, they are uncontested at the top of Group B. Just a funeral pyre for Che as they burn down the base. They make it look all too easy. That's the win for Unicorns of Love. 2-1 victory in the end. We have to praise H2K, closer in so many ways than it was in the spring season, but still not enough. And Unicorns of Love continue to be a team that you cannot give any window of opportunity to.
No, not at all. My words. H2K, this game was so in their control. They had like a 4 or 5k gold lead at one point when Oda was dismantling Chachi. Cannon on the side lane was just becoming a monster. That mid lane, Febivan, was 2-0-0. He got 2 solo kills down onto Exile. Everything was looking good until it just came down to the Baron, and the Unicorns, they stampede.
And it's just such a fantastic performance for the team. I mean, we have to give some credit to H2K as well. We had great performances in Game 1 and Game 3 coming in for Oda Wamne, but when it mattered most, in Game 3, when it came down to those crucial decision-makings, it was single missteps from H2K. And we saw mistakes from Unicorns in that game as well, but their mistakes were in the early game. They could take those risks. They could find opportunities to come back, but when it came to the Baron, H2K taking the big gambles, and it does not pay off. Unicorns of Love, undefeated in series so far, 6-1 in games.
This really was a battle of the 80 carries. You know, we hyped up the top lane matchup. MVP of last split versus arguably the second best, or at least in spring, top laner. You have Jankos versus Cersei, you had Featherman versus Exile. So much hype was surrounding the top half that not a huge amount of attention came down in the bottom lane, but then it was really nuclear. 8-2-4 in that final game. He was playing out of his mind, doing his best to keep his team's hopes alive, but Samex is...
And he's on a Twitch. He's on a Twitch. Not only is Samex playing incredibly well, you could even say that they're playing comparably. You're just, at that point, you're limited by your champion. You do not have the range of a Twitch. You do not have the team fight presence of a Twitch. And look, for Samex, man, that's a happy birthday, if I've ever seen one. That has to feel good. An intense 3-game series, but you win it in the end, and it's on your back that the team is carrying.
Yeah, it was certainly a hard-fought series for both teams. Very, very enjoyable. This is exactly what we wanted, and perhaps maybe not the upset in the same way that it was for Fnatic and G2, but regardless, it was such a great series, and we saw so many great plays too from both sides.
And we like to see kind of the parity in these groups between top teams, and there were Game 1 was H2K, good, cleaning up. Game 2, UOL cleaning up, and Game 3 was so close. These are the levels that we want to see from our top teams. This parity, these insane series that just feel so close.
Yeah, it was super, super fun. Still a little skeptical of the Blitzcrank. I mean, it definitely had its moments, landed some good hooks, and what I liked most about it was when Hilasang was able to hook away the cannon from the carries. I think that was the most valuable use of it, where he effectively became the sacrificial lamb. But I still would have preferred a Tom Kench, just me. I'll stop rambling.
Such a nitpicker.
Yeah, I am a little...
They get the win.
They do get the win.
They land so many clutch hooks. That was a game of hooks, if we're honest. We look back, like Shay hooked so many people, got so many leads for H2K. At the same time, Hill saying, yeah, he whiffed a couple, but when it counted in those late game team fights, that cannon never touched that Twitch.
Yep. And now we have Fnatic atop of Group A with 3-0, and we have UOL atop of Group B with 3-0 as well. So both the groups shaping up very nicely. Excited for next week, which will be the final week of within group play, and then we get cross group.
Yeah, right now we know who's the best in each group.
Yeah.
Now we're going to find out who's the best in Europe, who can actually go toe-to-toe in so many of these different circumstances.
H2K, H2K VG2, 2 more of the heavy macro teams versus Fnatic and UOL. Like, there's a lot of exciting matchups
I'm
to come.
so ready for Fnatic versus Unicorns of Love. Let's be honest, that is going to be just an absolutely insane matchup.
It's going to be a bloodbath. I mean, we had, I think it was 23 kills to 18 in that one. A lot of kills.
Yeah, definitely a lot of kills. Well, Unicorns of Love got an impressive win against H2K. Let's send it over to Pyra, who is ready with the Unicorns of Love bot lane and the birthday boy.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. First of all, I want to say something very important. Happy birthday, Samex!
Thank you very much.
Is this the present you wanted, 2-1 on the series?
Yes, when I woke up, I was like really looking forward to play H2K and to win for my birthday, so I'm really happy.
Awesome. Well, you have one more present. I'm happy to announce you're also player of the series. How do you feel about that?
Well, now I'm even more happy.
There we go. All right, so it was a really hard-fought one for you guys, especially coming back from Game 1, because let's be honest, you guys kind of got wrecked early on, not just the dual lane, but the entire team. How did you come back into that series and just look so dominant in the last 2 games?
Okay, so I think we just stay calm. Like we know in some comps, like for example, the last comp we know we outscale. So we just need to take it slow, get some items, then we can win team fights with our comp.
All right, Hilly, you think the same thing as well?
Yeah, I think once they didn't have summoners, we could abuse a bit more and not scale too much. We were a bit like, okay, we keep back and we can outscale them and win. But I think we could have like maybe punish them a bit more because against Blitzcrank, one hook is one kill if they don't have summoners. So I was a bit sad that I couldn't show up there. But other than that, at least we won the game. And I think it was fine after laning phase. We kind of played to our best.
Yeah, and it seemed like you guys worked really well together with the Twitch Blitz comp, but you also got your hands on Xayah Rakan a couple of times, and that's something we've been seeing popping up a lot more across the world when it's been available, both those champions. We know these champions are strong, they're designed to work well together, but why do you guys think that overall they just kind of work better than some of the other more iconic duos throughout the history of duo bot laners?
I mean, I think Xayah Rakan is mainly super strong because Xayah W. You put it on Rakan as well, so you have a lot of kill pressure level 1. So you can push the lane, and level 3 you have the combo of Rakan W with the Xayah root, and it's a lot of damage. So that's mainly it. It has a lot of damage and it's reliable.
Fair enough. For Hilly, since you're playing the other side of that duo, when you're playing Rakan, is it just how does it actually feel when you're able to get those like combos zooming in and out? Is it just feel like you're flying more than other champions?
Yeah, it actually feels pretty sick that you can jump like your whole screen from left corner to bottom right. So your engage is like 2 turrets range, so it's pretty insane. I think Rakan is playable without Xayah too, but it's way more difficult to pull out. And I think with together, if you match them, I think it's the best duo you can have. So I think it's pretty strong.
Best duo you can have. Well, let's move out of the champions and move on to you guys, because talking about duos, you just took down Nuclear and Che, are touted as a pretty solid duo across Group B. Where do you guys think you both stack up in the entire EU LCS of bottom laners?
So I don't know exactly how we stack up, but I think we are like pretty consistent bot lane. Like we rarely get pressured. Like we always have we are always even or ahead. So it's something really good we have, I think.
Oh, fair enough. Hilly, I mean, you've been playing in the EU LCS for quite some time now. Do you think that's true as well?
I would say we are right behind Sven and Miffy.
All right, well, I'm sure Sven will be happy to hear that back on the desk. But okay, so speaking of those two guys, you will be playing off against them some weeks' time when cross-group play comes around. Is that the team, or are you looking forward to facing off against another team, especially more now that you've conquered Group B?
Yeah, we're looking forward to play against them. It's going to be good.
All right, G2 Unicorns Love, going to be exciting. Hilly, do you have any last words on that?
Yes, definitely G2. This was the team that gave us the most trouble, and we are the most inconsistent team that we faced. So I really want to win them once and forever. So yeah, looking forward to play them again.
Once and forever. Well, Unicorn series, especially against G2, are always exciting. So once again, congratulations on your win, gentlemen, and happy birthday, Samix.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's it for us. We're going to go ahead and send it off to Shox and the crew for the post-game lobby.
Indeed, welcome everybody to the post-game lobby where we're going to discuss the EULCS power rankings by Sven, highlight your big plays of the week and more, as I am joined here by Stress, by Sven, and also by the Unicorns of Love's jungler Xerxes. And first off, congratulations is in order. Xerxes, what a victory versus H2K. It seemed like a tough one. That was a rough series. That was an intense series.
Yeah, I think it was the same last split. Mm-hmm. I think we won the first game and then the second game we lost. So it's pretty much like the last split.
How difficult was it playing up against that Zach in game one that Jankos brought out?
Okay, so before the game, I was quite confident. And then in game, it was actually difficult.
Yeah. Were you tilted?
No.
No, never tilt. Let's take a look at some of the replays from that match. Unicorns of Love in the end coming out victorious, rather 2-1. A strong comeback to take back the series, or take the series rather, against H2K. And well, there's a lot to talk about. We already analyzed a lot of the former games, so maybe let's ask Xerxes about the or of the specifics of it, because game one in the end, even Visit Chachi and Exile, they were just having a rough game. So how was the communication after that?
I think we messed up around level 3 or 4 and they got a kill. And I don't think I played good either. I don't have my laners. So Zek was kind of free to do like whatever he wanted to do, and that's how he got first.
we saw a lot of emphasis on Zaya Rakan, Sven. Was it the champion picks that helped Samox and Hylissang look very strong in the early games, or do you think they're a formidable duo?
I mean, I think they're a good duo. They're very good at playing aggressive, first of all. I think Zaya Rakan is a very good duo together. They have much playmaking, they have good laning phase, they don't really have any weaknesses overall, they have good scaling as well, so I think they played good on it. I think Samox's Twitch was very, very good as well. He had high DPS every team fight. He had, I think, only 5 deaths the entire series. I think Samox overall was very consistent in the series. Hylissang was a bit up and down. Like, he had moments where, like, what's he doing here? Why is he dying, like, randomly on Blitzcrank? But I think overall, as a duo, they played very well today.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. Am I correct in assuming that, you know, Twitch is one of those hard champions to play, especially know when you have to come out in team fights and how you have to play it? So that's kind of a testament to being a good AD carry, or?
Yes, but Twitch is kind of a champion that punishes mistakes very hard. Like in this game, last game, H2K had the lead early game thanks to a good lane swap from the bot lane of H2K. But there was this one team fight in the bot lane where Jankos was on Ivern in bot without ultimate. And then I think Samus got 3 kills on the Twitch and that got him rolling. And then the team fight power is much better than Varus. Like even though Varus is a good team fighter as well, Twitch team fighting DPS is just much higher. And the team fights are carried very hard by Twitch. So yeah, I think it's a champion that is not good in lane phase or anything, but if the other team makes mistakes, Twitch is too strong.
Yeah, absolutely punishing. Zerx, you were going down the ladder in terms of jungle picks. It ended up being Warwick versus Ivern, which I don't think anyone especially expected from the start. How come you think you had to go down? Or I know that you rate Warwick quite highly, but what did you think of that matchup?
I don't play Warwick against Ivern. Or you
I talked about the last game, yeah.
The last game?
Yeah. Wait, it was Warwick versus Ivern?
No, it was Rengar versus...
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I was messed up.
I mean, it's an old matchup from last split, and both junglers got nerfed. So I think that Ivern has the upper hand because he outscales Rengar, but I think Rengar has pressure early and mid game.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was completely confused. It was such an interesting series.
That, it was the Kha'Zix who saw the Warwick into.
Exactly.
To be the only jungler that's still bringing out the Warwick.
I don't know. I just love Warwick. I think I think the champion does really fine against those early junglers. Like Kha'Zix, at least Lee Sin.
And then you pair it with the Zaya, the Rakan, you get somebody already CC'd.
Well. So it was pretty easy to play.
Yeah, it did seem like a pretty deadly combo. I want to take a step back and kind of look at what does this mean, because I feel like we're going to talk about Fnatic versus G2 later, and obviously we have kind of the idea that G2 isn't on full strength yet, so maybe we don't take that for 100%, even though Fnatic was strong. But in this one, the Unicorns of Love versus H2K, it seems like it was two teams who are completely on top of their game already, because you guys came into the split seemingly super prepared in practice. The same goes for H2K, so how much confidence does that give you going further?
I think right now we are really confident, even though we don't play at our best, because I'm pretty sure, and I know we can play much better than this, but we are happy that we are on the top of our group right now.
Mm-hmm. If we look at areas of improvement then for H2K or Unicorns of Love, again, H2K didn't manage to beat the Unicorns of Love. So what do you think it came down to, Stress?
Well, for H2K, there were some suspect skirmishes that they were taking when they weren't far ahead. Game 1, I think, was a good example of how they closed out with a lead and took solid fights. On the other side, for Unicorns, the thing I need them to shore up is Exile not overextending in the early game, taking 1v1s in a Vlad versus Syndra matchup and dying a couple of times. Like, these are mistakes he knows how not to make, but for whatever reason in today's series, he was making them a lot, and that gave a lot of windows over to H2K.
Sven, what do you think?
I think that in the second game, the biggest mistake of H2K was giving the Saya Rakan combo to Unicorns for free. They could have picked Thresh Saya or banned one of them or something like that, but they didn't pick any of them, and Thresh Kalista wasn't worth it compared to Saya Rakan, and they kind of it was just not worth it to draft. And then in the third game, they have 3 pushing lanes in that game. They have a Ken split pusher, but they can't really use the split push so easily against Rengar and Twitch together, so they couldn't really play that comp to the perfection. And even though they got the early game lead, they messed up the bot lane team fight where Samus got 3 kills, and then they could never find the split pushing win condition anymore. And in team fights, they can't win. So I think they messed up their composition and their win condition a little bit. And Unicorns punished one team fight, and then they just couldn't win anymore.
Yeah, it does sound like you, and over the course of the 3 games when we were analyzing, you were thinking that the draft needed a couple of more changes from the side of H2K after that very good draft in game 1.
Yeah, well, at least after the second game where I lost to Saya Rakan, they banned out the Rakan, I think it was, and they kind of split the duo a little bit. You only need one ban to like kind of mess up the duo, so that was a good ban by them. And then, even though they had their early game lane swap, that was pretty good for them this time. They had the pushing lanes on top and mid priority from Syndra solo kill. That was really good by H2K. And then they had this one fight in the bot lane that Unicorns took on a good timing. They had no summoners on the H2K team almost, and got, I think, 3 kills for Twitch, and that was kind of what opened the game for Unicorns.
Yeah, and it always comes down to the fact that the Unicorns of Love are just great at team fighting and skirmishing. Xerxes, do you feel you're getting even better at that? And do you feel like there's anyone now, if you were to play them right now, who could be better at team fighting than you guys?
To be completely fair, like whenever I see on Twitter or Reddit, like everyone is praising our team fight, and I'm not even aware that we are that good at team fighting. To be completely fair.
So maybe can you give you some insight in? Do you feel like when you're making calls in a team fight, or that you're always going for the right target? Do you feel like that's on the same page when you're in a game?
It comes pretty natural from everyone. Like everyone understands what they need to do in the team fight, what's our condition in a team fight, and we just play around it.
Yeah, I guess that says it all, right? You're not even thinking about it, and it's going well, while other teams are trying to figure out that, you know, they want to do better at team fighting and want to get better at it.
I think generally there's a couple of things that more often than not go well for you guys that other teams mess up, whether it's, you know, Samek's staying alive and people actually peeling for him for a while. Chachi seems to, whenever he's got Shen or a champion that has this massive crowd control, like get 2-3 people in every single fight. And I think that just makes it difficult when the small things are going well in a team fight, you manage to turn it around. And as you said, you might not be thinking about it, but I mean, that's a good thing to have, right? That Chachi's like not even thinking and he's like, oh, 3-person turn.
Yeah, absolutely. Sven, where would you say the G2 team fighting synergy coordination is at right now?
I think our team fighting is pretty good. I have the same thing as Xerxes, that we don't actually like think about team fighting that much. We don't like talk about it. We don't think about us being good at team fighting. It just everyone knows their own individual role in team fights, and then sometimes we try to improve our communication. Like, okay, this guy has no ult, this guy has no flash. Communicate that, and then we end up screaming like, whoa, in team fights. But I think we don't really talk about our team fighting. We don't think about it so much. It just happens that we're good at it because we have good individual players, kind of like Unicorns. Everyone just plays their own champion and plays it well.
Yeah, team fighting on point, and the reason I ask it is because obviously we know that you guys are still trying to get back to your super form, and we want to look back on the Thursday match, Fnatic versus G2, facing off in a Clash of Kings, absolute thriller of a series, and in the end, you guys just fell short, and well, that combo again. So can you tell us in the end what it was? Because Perk said, oh, we want to see if Zach's really OP, we want to sometimes leave the Shen and the cannon open and see how good it is, but is that also how you look at it? You just want to see if you can fight against it?
I mean, it's true that we practice a lot in LCS, even against NIP. We're playing Fiora and we're playing Janna, things we don't like to practice much in LCS. I mean, in the scrim, sorry, and we don't like know how to play it so well, so we try to practice it. Against Fnatic, I think we didn't really know how OP was Zac, how OP was, like, how good is everything, you know? So we're just kind of just figuring out on the fly in the LCS games how good things actually are, and then after one game, we're like, okay, let's not play Zac again, and let's just figure it out next game.
So were the Reddit detectives and Deficio who jumped on the hype train right that you were purposefully letting Shen and Kennen through just to see how OP
I mean, it's true that it's his best AD carry, and so is much better on champions like Shen and Gary that can TP bot lane, has good lane phase, and they can TP bot. But we don't really ban these things because they're good at it, because they're the only team that plays it. It's just like, if you can, we should be able to beat them without having to ban those champions, because we wouldn't ban it against anyone else for that matter. So I don't think we banned it because of people practice against it necessarily, but we shouldn't have to ban it just for that reason.
I was also thinking back to you guys saying, especially last year, that sometimes it's hard when you're the best to kind of improve at small margins, because what mechanics are there to do that? Do you feel that it in a way helped you, the fact that you've come in a bit more untrained into this split, that you actually can identify things you can work on?
I mean, it's true that if you're the best team, it's hard to improve them for the other teams, but not really. It's a thing a little bit, but I think now that we don't have the best grasp of the meta, we play against teams like Unicorns or H2K. They already have like a lot of scrims already. They know what to play. Fnatic same. They have the grasp of the meta already, so it's easier for us to catch up faster than normal because we don't have much scrims on this patch. We don't know what the Herald, Zac, Rakan. We don't really have like all these things. Like, we don't know exactly what is good and what is not good. So it helps to catch up faster, I agree.
One player that I want to look at for the Fnatic side of things is this a player that came in a similar time to you, Broxer. Now, what are your thoughts on him in the few games you've seen from Summer?
I think he has been doing really good so far. He seems like to fit the team perfectly, and all of them have team synergy.
Yeah, when I look at Fnatic, even last split, a lot of teams were saying, oh, Inscrims are great, they're going to be a great team, and it never really came out. And now Fnatic is at the top of the standings in Group A and looking in a great form. So how much of that is kind of the beginning of the split and other teams finding their form, or how much is this what was already there now being able to be translated onto stage, Sven?
I don't know about Fnatic being the best scrim partner. For us, it has always been Unicorns. The split has been good scrim partner. H2K was a good scrim partner. They're good macro. They play serious. They try to like improve as a team. They don't try to like make it a scrim game of a full animal game like you guys always do. Spice always been a good scrim partner as well. I think last split we scrimmed mainly those 3 teams. They were all good scrim partners, and they're good practice, I think. So I think some teams play different in scrims than do on stage. Some players are better, some players are worse. But overall, I think most teams play kind of the same in scrims. So it translates.
If you go back 2 years and somebody said to me, Unicorns are one of the best scrim partners, no disrespect, you guys now are obviously a very different team. Unicorns used to scrim people and just go Cassiopeia, Yorick in every game, and every single team would say, we don't want to scrim against that. That gives us no practice. Who else is
like,
going to
why
play
are you
that?
like, I wasn't part of that.
Right. But I think that's just a testament to the growth of the organization. And now, as you say, the serious scrim partners that you can actually rely on to give you good practice.
I mean, Unicorns are good practice anyways. They fight a lot in scrims, so you have to like test yourself after you can resist fighting and making the game like a 45 kill game, because that's what happens usually, and then you end up losing at some point or you're winning like randomly. So it's good practice to like test your like self-control to fight all the time. So yeah.
Yeah. Xerxes, who's your favorite scrim partner?
I would say G2.
All right, fantastic. All right, let's take a look at what the standings look like going into the final week of the first round robin, because after that, we see the mix-up teams, and they will be playing each other. Unicorns of Love, they have a lead in Group B, now cemented there in first place, much like we saw in the spring split, and Fnatic is atop of Group A.
Yeah, I would say also for people that are tuning in, remembering the spring split, don't be too worried down at the bottom of the table. I know we're seeing 0-3 from both of the new teams that joined, but I would say they're way stronger than the Origins we had in the last split. Like, these are teams that are genuinely fighting against some of the middle-of-the-pack teams, and despite the results not going their way yet, I think there's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, is there any surprises in the rankings so far for you, Xerxes, or is everything going as expected?
I think it went as expected.
With the Unicorns of Love #1 in Group A, obviously. Well, based on the first few weeks of summer, we also have this split is really promising to be a close race for the top of the European LCS. And we also asked Sven for power rankings coming out of week 2. So let's take a look. We put all the teams together and had the full 10. You scribbled them up for us. And in the S tier, we find Fnatic, G2 Esports, Unicorns of Love, and H2K. Then Splice and Misfits Gaming, Vitality in a tier of their own. And under that, Roccat, the Ninjas in Pajamas, and Mysterious Monkeys. And of course, I immediately want to go to that Vitality B tier for you, because to us it's been quite, the question if they were ever going to rise, but you seem to believe that they can rise above.
I don't know if they can rise above Misfits and Splice. I thought they were going to be better than they are right now, but they seem to be not as good as I thought they were. Even when they get early game leads, like they were games against Splice, Joko gets first blood in both games, Nidok has 4 kills on the fist against Syndra, nothing happens, teamfight lost, and then the game is over.
Yeah.
They had everything going for them, and this collapses at some point. Joko has 2 kills in 3 minutes against Splice in the second game, and still nothing happens in the game. They just don't seem, they can find the leads, but they can't find anything else than the lead, right? So they are in their own tier. I think they can still beat Roccat, Ninjas, and Pajamas and Mysterious Monkeys, but they can't beat anyone else on that, as of right now at least. So, yeah,
that's where they are. Xerxes, is there anything that stands out to you that you would have drastically put somewhere else?
Based on skins, I would say Vitality are doing much better in skins than they're doing on stage. It seems like they're not playing the same, like it's totally a different team on the stage, and then when you play against them.
Yeah, that is definitely also interesting, seeing that they have a very experienced coach coming in. They have some very experienced players.
Yeah, we are still asking the question, can Yamato Cannon fix some of the bad habits maybe that Vitality's legacy players have got? I think there's one thing I've got to ask. There's a lot of teams, it's gone now. There's a lot of teams up in the S tier you're putting alongside G2. Are you telling me that Unicorns, H2K, Fnatic can take a game off of SKT, or is this just some modesty, Sven? Is that what you're saying?
That's not really how it works. Like, just because some team beats some team, one game doesn't really make that other team that beat them better than them, But I do think that Unicorns, HK, and Fnatic are all good teams that could take games off each other. Like, on different days, different teams could win. So they're in their own tier for a reason, and they're the best teams. And I think they can beat everyone else, but they could lose to each other or win against each other, I think.
Looking at that, to me, and also the way the games are feeling and the big top matchups that we've had, it feels just to be shaping up to a very interesting top four, where it is closer than in spring, and it is closer to than last year as well. Xerxes, do you feel the same way? The matchups are closer, and G2 just seems more beatable. I think that's maybe the...
I think G2 seems beatable right now because they haven't played much on this page, but I think in few weeks / months, I think they will be at the top again. And I think the best teams right now are G2, UOL or Fnatic, then H2K.
Yeah, we put H2K maybe in a different tier, right under?
To be fair, we didn't have this match to judge from before we made the power rankings, so we couldn't have known this was the outcome of the match, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it'd be super interesting when after next week we go into the cross-group play and we will see, finally how it's all going to play out. Anything about the bottom of the table? Stress, Mysterious Monkeys, I still feel like they could make a run for some higher spot when they go up against some of the teams that are more their caliber.
I also feel like they can beat Vitality. I think I agree that Vitality should be on a tier above, but I think if there's one team that's going to drop a game that maybe shouldn't, it would be Vitality against Mysterious Monkeys.
All right. Well, that was very interesting, Sven. Thanks for going on the record with that. We'll have a check-in later in the split and see how it all pans out. And now we're also going to take a look at some other strong performances, as we've seen a lot of them over the last 4 days. We're going to check out your top plays of the week, brought to you by Acer and Fnatic. They got the win versus G2 with the help of some comfort picks. And here's a tweet from @DizAbc. He tweeted, "Please, can you refer to Shen Cannon as the Schenken agreement? They move so freely between lanes." Fantastic. Let's take a look.
Fully in time. Bot lane controlled, and the play happening.
Reckless going on in, bringing Shen to the party. They get the taunt, they get first blood. Reckless picking up Miffy. Just waiting in the wings.
Shen ulti, baby!
Here we go, Reckless delivering. The other ninja right on top of Sven, and that puppy is going down. Back to live, the action never stops. Reckless this time is on his own, or is he? It's SOAS tagging in. And now the tables have turned, Tricks out of there. And Reckless on a killing spree, 3-0, looking for expect. It's never just one member of Fnatic.
Yeah, Sven, sorry, we had to show like again and again and again. This is becoming annoying.
This is the in cam here of me dying.
The in cam of Sven dying. Yeah, we were actually saying how, not to flame you or whatever, but you weren't having a good game. And usually when G2 is struggling a bit, you are still having an amazing game. So that kind of is a testament to how it's not just all going perfect yet. Is that true? Or?
Yeah, I think in that last game, things just collapsed. We got the first tower against them, which was good. Against Shen, we got the first tower, and we're like, that's pretty good. We didn't die early game to Shen and Cannon, right? And then at some point, Lee Sin just walked bot to our lane, and he just laned in the tower, and we're like, guys, what do we do here? Do we force a fight? No, we're on TP, they have Shen ult. Okay, so what do we do? And then we couldn't really find anything to do in this game, and we just slowly lost, and we were like, And then the entire Shen Cannon thing happens. Once you lose your towers, you can't really go anywhere alone as Kopmo, and I think my pick was really bad in this series. I should have not picked Kopmo. I should have picked Twitch in the first game as well. I picked the second game and I got banned third game. I think our picks were off and our play was off, but yeah.
Yeah, but still very close. So, I mean, silver lining, no?
No, I was kind of running it down in game 3. I was like 0-5-0, something like this. It was really horrible.
A match to forget quickly. So let's move on to another play. We were speaking about Vitality earlier, and Shook, he came up big earlier this week against Misfits Gaming, and at LolXLama said, Shook be like, thank you for the Baron, Misfits. You guys are being nice. Too nice, actually.
Oh, where
this is
Shook?
risky.
Justice punch. Hook goes forward. Decent damage onto Hansama. Knocked back. He's in the pit. Can they take down Shook before they get the Baron? He makes it over the wall. Where is the smite? He gets it! NIP Misfits, you take the risk. They're more than happy to punish you. Look at Prophet. He's already breaking it in him. This is disaster for the side of Misfits.
Here he goes.
Gandalf not going to be able to stop them from getting into the pit. They're just going to keep going. Shook, where is he? Yeah! Oh, he's done it again! I can't believe it. Shook is a monster.
Wow. Xerxes, I know you also, you've stolen a couple of Barons and objectives in your day. How do you rate Shook's Baron steal? How much out of 10?
I think they were fine, but I would blame it more on Misfits because they took those 50-50 Barons. Like, okay, it happens once, but it happened twice as well, and I'm not sure if it happened the third time as well. And this should never come up to it.
You should never go into it. It was quite interesting because Maxlor, obviously, he moved teams and he's now on Misfits. How do you think he's been doing so far? If you have any insight into it.
I think he's doing as good as last split.
Okay, well, that's pretty good, I guess. Or not.
was good enough to beat G2. Sorry, Sven.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to throw shade the entire time. They were the only team. Nextla was looking
That's
great.
true. That's true. I think that's a great thing to keep remembering for Rocket because they haven't been doing so well so far. So, all right. Next tweet. Finally, at Divius Dom wrote, "Okay, so Samex had a god-level submarine play there. Absolutely brutal."
And Jisoo falls Samex. Oh, here comes the Stad United. He wants the big outplay. Dodges the hook. He's going to rat-a-tat-tat and spray and pray. 3 members of Mysterious Monkeys down.
All right, that was pretty damn sick.
It is sick.
Yeah, flashing the hook, then Chachi comes in. There's another one of those times where Chachi only got 2 out of 3 on that one. But still, it was enough for Samex easily to clean up. A couple of crits go in there just to make sure he can get the kills. But that looks impressive. Whenever one Twitch just takes 3 people out.
It's also nice to just, we were asking the question as analysts before, Xerxes, Unicorns of Love already did so well in the spring split, so where can you improve? Because you were the rookie of the split, obviously on top of your game. Chachi was the MVP of the split, and now it seems that Samex seems to be someone that can level up as well. Do you notice anything in like the way, is he becoming more confident? Has he always been this confident? Has nothing really changed? Is it just coming out? What do you think it is?
I think Samex has always been this consistent player, like, and solid. And, he's not losing your game, but I can say he's not caring, but he has some games where he's caring. He's overall really solid, and I don't think he had like any highlights so far. So that's why right now he has
highlight reel. Or is it because you just had an amazing performance, or is it Chachi would always carry, or Exile would have, so he kind of didn't have a place to shine? Seems. So you guys should just feed.
We will try that next week.
Yeah, we'll try that, and then let Samex carry. All right, let's take a look at the matchups for the last week of the first round robin. Next week, that is Vitality versus the Mysterious Monkeys, Rocket versus Fnatic, kick everything off. Let's see, what are the Misfits versus G2 could actually be quite an interesting matchup as well.
Very interesting.
That it could be close, What do you think, Sven?
I don't know, but now we actually have a week of practice, so we can finally start to practice together with the full lineup. So I mean, for us, it would be nice to win against Misfits. I think we should win against Misfits. We have 1 week of practice now, so yeah.
So interesting.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
We also get that Vitality Mysterious Monkeys matchup we were talking about, and then the similar matchup Rocket NIP on the last day. Really will cement going into cross-group play, where the standings actually lie in the bottom half too.
Yeah, definitely. So very interesting there. That's Splice. I'm really excited to see Splice actually hitting the Rift versus you guys, because they did have a great performance today. We had Senkux with his first player of the series of the entire year on Aurelion Sol. So they're definitely coming out to get you guys. How do you feel about that matchup next week?
I think they're playing really good, and we actually played them a few days, and we learned a lot from them. So I think it's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah. Are you guys, Sven and Xerxes, looking forward to the cross-group play?
Yeah, but I'm playing against Unicorns first, which I'll play against someone else first, because we need more practice maybe for the Unicorns. They're the best team in Group B by far, so I would prefer if I could play Unicorns like a bit later, like week 6 maybe. But I feel like it's going to be exciting to play against Unicorns and H2K. So yeah.
Definitely will be. Xerxes, excited for cross-group play. Just want to skip next week.
I'm looking forward to play against G2 and Fnatic.
Yeah, I'm super hyped for the top 4.
It's so hype. Yeah. It's not even the top 4. Like last cross group, some of the most high-profile games. Remember Origin versus Rocket, that 74-minute game? Not for the same reasons, right? But I think it's also going to be interesting to see, Nip versus Mysterious Monkeys, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, when you look at it, G2 Unicorns, that's like, you put that as the main event almost of the entire split.
Yeah, well, strong words, but I think you're right. It will be a very interesting matchup. Well, for that will do us from here. It has been a rough one for me, hasn't it? That will do it from us here in week 2. Thank you guys very much for joining me in the post-game lobby, and you, of course, as well. Stress, and we will be back for another week of action in the EOLCS on Thursday. See you then.
Need to win. They want to silence some of those critics, but the Monkeys are hungry and not for bananas. They want to get a W on the board. Does it start right here, right now? Let's find out. Kick was available. Flash followed kick, and instantly Justice punch. Now Mysterious Monkeys have found that they can go right back in. Troji locked in the pit. Do they have the damage to finish anyone off? But Wonder comes around the backside. Mickey X is going to take down Jisoo. I got a vision. I can fight you. Are you okay? Nice, deleted. Nice. Cut. Senkux knows he's sniffing him out.
This is so.
Oh, this
so
if he just kills him
annoying.
passively. Oh my word!
It's a battle of the celestial beings, and unfortunately, Senkux is way too strong
All they got to do is eyes on the Nexus as the Shockwave pulls in too. Mickey X looks to fall. No, he's going to stay safe. They send the big comment out, and they're going to take down the Nexus, and Splice make sure the monkeys are history.
Here in game one, Unicorns Love Chance coming in strong. They're starting up on the red side. It's H2K on the blue. That's the chain CC. Let's bounce back into that creep wave, baby. Vizichachi taken down yet again. Wait forward, Featherman trying to start the fight off, but the Twitch is doing so much damage from the backside. You can't forget about him. Samix not ignored this time. He gets deleted instantly. Beaver's wall comes out, trying to dish it out with the threaded volley, but he cannot connect to the damage. Jay running for his life. Exile's in trouble. There's the Ren.
And Unicorns of Love get everything. They get the Baron, they get the fight, and Featherman is going to die as well.
Oh, this is a fight for the Unicorns of Love. One good damage comes in from the Vladimir, but the ult has been used by the cannon. He does get taken down in the end. Twitch is on the backside trying to dish out the damage, but Nuclear is just as strong right now, and he's looking to take out Vizichachi. The arrow comes in, big forward, wants to get a little bit more hill attack, trying to find the hook. Yes, Samix dishing out so much damage. That's 2 kills. Baron resetting, but Unicorns of Love, they've got it in their sight. That's what they want. Samix, he sees his opportunity. He starts to unload the damage. He's there to back up the fight. This is domination. This is the Unicorns of Love, and at the end of the day, they are uncontested at the top of Group B. Just a funeral pyre for Jay as they burn down the base. They make it look all too easy. That's the win for Unicorns of Love.